Have you ever wondered what was actually going on in the presidential race in California? Well, in this video, we're going to get into those details. We know that the media's bias, right? It's a for-profit organization. They're there to make money. Like, that's what they're supposed to do. So they're going to do things to make money. It just makes sense, right? But what about the truth? Well, we know that the truth is not like the beacon, right? That's not their North Star for the media. Remember, we just said they're for profit. So they're trying to make money, which sometimes could be the truth. Sometimes it couldn't be the truth. Or maybe it's the truth manipulated in one way, or maybe it's a falsehood manipulated in a different way. Right? Doesn't matter to them. They're there to make a profit. Well, what if we could actually see what was going on in California? What people were actually interested in? Not just like, I think about it like if your boss is over your shoulder, what is your behavior going to be like? When your boss is on vacation, what is your behavior like? This is people sitting at home. And with 2020 being the internet, we get to see what people are doing in terms of the Google search volume and the YouTube search volume, the two largest sites in the fucking planet. And you get millions and millions of data points to show you what people are actually interested in instead of a poll or a survey that is put on by a organization that is biased, right? They're for profit. Stacked on top of that, you have the biases that come with polling and surveys. And that is put forth in the media as in, this is the truth. But we can just look back to 2016 and see that is inaccurate. Well, my name's Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it's good to freaking see you. So let's dive right into the video. I use Google Trends to actually look back at the 2016 election to see if this holds any water, right? Does the search volume for each candidate's name on Google and on YouTube indicate, could that be a better predictor of who's actually going to win the election, right? Because when we look at the polling data, let me pull up this here. This is the polling data this is from the 2016 election, right here. This is a 2016 election as Wikipedia. You can Google that. We can see here that this is from UPI. This is a sample size. So this means this is how many people that were surveyed or that were polled to come up with the results that indicate Hillary Clinton is winning, right? And it tells you over here with the date when it was done, and then this one's from The Economist, this one's from Bloomberg, this is from ABC, this is from Fox, this is IBC, this is Mammoth, this is another polling thing in Reuters, this is CBS, this is NBC. Well, look at that. They all have Hillary winning. But when we come over here and look at the actual data, what people are actually doing when they're at home, sitting on their fucking sofa, what are they Googling? Well, in 2016, you could clearly see that they were Googling Trump. And the same thing holds when you check out YouTube, right? Even more prominent that Trump was winning. They were just more interested. So what happens when people are searching? Well, that's an indicator of interest. And when people are able to get their message out to more people, they're able to tell their story, they're able to get more eyeballs, and attention in 2020 is online. Clearly, if you lived through the past fucking 4 months of what this country has been through, like, you know that. So I wanted to use the same framework from 2016 backtesting, but use it for this year in 2020 to see how accurate it is. But first, let's take a look at Real Clear Politics. They aggregate different polls. As we can see, we recognize some of these names, right? We have YouGov, which we just saw. This is a poll done by The Economist. IBD, whatever thing this is. Mammoth is, I think, it's a division or part of a college, I believe. CNBC, USA Today, NPR, The Hill, right? And look at all of these. This is interesting. All of these polls here have Biden leading kind of like this. Interesting. Okay. Let's keep going. This is national, but we're going to look at California specifically. Over here, we can see the sample size. So this is on the national level, and these are national numbers. So you have a national poll right here by Bloomberg, a national poll. 799 people are polled. And that is put forth by the media as this is representative of what the fucking population thinks as a collective. What a farce. There's over 330 million people in the country. You gotta take that out like 5 or 6 decimal places to even get to the first number. To think that that is an accurate representation of what the collective thinks in America is laughable. Even the highest one here is from The Economist, and that's the 3,700. And that's still 5 decimal places out. It's pretty interesting here, right? And these polls here are, the highest one is 1,500. The lowest is 733. So we can see, this is funny for me because you just see this data and then once you have the tiniest amount of data, these organizations put this forth as this is the truth of like what people are thinking in America. When we have something like this, it's called Google Trends. As I mentioned earlier, Google and YouTube are not only the top 2 sites in the fucking planet, but they're also the number 1 and number 2 search engines in the fucking planet. Meaning they have the most searches, people going to YouTube and searching, people going to Google and searching. And Google Trends allows us to look at Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and see the search volume for those candidates over time. So this is in California, as you can see over here, and it's over the last 12 months on YouTube. And you get to see that it is, I pulled up the data over here on the right. We can see over the past 12 months on YouTube, right here, that it is almost 3 to 1, meaning there's almost 3 searches for Donald Trump before there's 1 search for Joe Biden. And that's kind of across the board. From it does get a little bit better at the 90-day. It's more like, it's actually less than 2 to 1. It's maybe like 1.8 searches for Donald Trump before there's 1 search for Joe Biden. But then over the last 30 days, it goes back up to 2.5, roughly-ish, to 1. And that's on YouTube, which is the second largest. But let's go to the largest, right? And the same thing happens here. But at the 90-day mark here, we see that Joe Biden had more search volume at the beginning of April. Then it dropped back down, and then he came back up in early May, and then he came back up at the late May. And since late May, it almost looks like he's trending down slightly if you just look at this last little bit here where it's just sliding down, where Trump had almost like a fundamental shift up and Biden had a shift just down. He hasn't had any attention to tell his message. And you have to be able to tell a story to people, meaning you need the attention from people to be able to get your message out. And if you can get your message in front of more people in 2020, you win. So this is on web search. Let's jump into the last 30 days in California. What are people searching for? And over the last 30 days, again, and this is on the web, it's also, again, 3-to-1 practically, meaning 3 searches for Donald Trump for every 1 search of Joe Biden. Now, this is not necessarily an indicator of who is going to vote, right? Because I'm sure I'll get that comment. But again, it wasn't the case in 2016 either, but it accurately predicted who was going to win. When we looked at all the data from these companies who have been doing this stuff for years, right? The Economist has a good name, supposedly, like connotations associated with it, right? Bloomberg, one way or the other, people at least know the name, whether it's good or bad. ABC News, all these other players. They've been doing this stuff for years. And there's a tool available to everybody. You can go look up to see who's actually winning based upon what people are actually interested in. What a novel idea. But that's not what is told. That's not what it put forth. This, which has at most 1,663 sample size from CNBC, that's put forth as accurate. I was starting to laugh there for a second. That's put forth as the accurate representation of what the collective 330 million plus people want in America. Yet, we have a tool that is free that shows us millions of data points. You don't have to be fantastic at math. You don't have to be a mathematician. You don't have to be into statistics or have an MBA to understand if you have 1,000 data points or 5 million data points, which one is going to capture more information? You don't have to be super intelligent to figure that out. There is a fundamental shift that needs to happen in the way things are done. I don't care who you support. It doesn't matter. I'm not voting, so I don't care. However, what I do care about is the truth. And to me, this is not an accurate representation of the truth. It's just not at all. It just doesn't show the truth whatsoever. We get to look what people are actually looking for. Now, if you agree with this, share this video with somebody so we can get the message out around what's actually going on. Share this video with somebody who can get value out of it. To know that there's something else going on and it's more accurate. There's a magnitude more data available to you. I showed you where I got everything. You can leave a comment down below. I'll even leave a link. You can do all of this yourself and see who is actually winning. So if you agree with this message and the truth, share this video with somebody. Please. Peace.